Okay, I'm back again with my outdated version of chess base, and I'm going to talk now about rosettes. This is an example of a rosette. It's a very common type of position in the queen versus rook endgame, and it's much more difficult to handle for the attacker than the defender. For the defender, there are always simple rules to follow, but for the attacker, there are 6 different sets of rules to follow, depending on the type of rosette. So for the defender, the rule is you always attack the opponent's king with a rook move, and if that's not safe to do, attack the opponent's queen with a rook move, and use that and the next move to reunite your pieces, and then move your king toward the center of the board. So in this case, the correct move would be check the king. And then if the king goes, king would not dare go there. Now come here. So you've moved your king into the center squares of the board. You're in pretty good shape. He goes here, well, you just fall back here. But remember, you're playing to the 50 move rule. You're not playing for a win. You're playing for the other guy to fail to win. All right. So this is the first kind of rosette to pay attention to. It's an alternating rosette where you have white, black, going around the ring. If white is to play, if the attacker is to play, these are always a trivial win. In this case, you just give check and fork the pieces. Or if we rotate it or mirror image it, then you check here, and the only way to save the rook is there, and it's pinned and it's lost. So it's always a trivial win. I want you to notice, though, these two positions were mirror images of each other. That's one of the things that makes playing rosettes difficult for the attacker. They're always the same for the defender. In this case, we'd play rook to d4 and attack the queen, since that's the safe attack to make. But for the attacker, you need to have different strategies for the different types of positions. Okay. Attacker or defender to move here, check the king because you're able to. That would be the sensible place to go. If you've seen the other videos, this is a cage type position. The king can't back away. The white pieces are trying to force the black to the first rank here. And the convergence on this square ends the checks. There are a couple of different ways to go here, but it's always prudent when you can no longer attack the king, attack the queen. Okay, that's a common sequence of moves. We've ended up in a body check position. That's a different part of the program. Black is playing well here. It would also be possible simply to play here, forming an Urva type position. And either way, white is a long way from winning this position. And again, if we've reflected the position and black to move has no problems, attack the queen, that's the safe move. Okay, he goes there. You can now block, that's safe. And if he comes up there, well, it usually doesn't hurt to take the opposition. White has many equally good approaches here. That's actually good for the defender. That means white isn't anywhere near winning this. And if we move it away from the center, it's still a trivial win for white. And for black, you use the same thing. We can check the king, so let's check the king. And he sure doesn't want to go for opposition here. Opposition of the king, of the two kings with the attacking king on the edge of the board, is a very long way from mate indeed. So he goes away there. Well, now it's time to attack the queen. Same procedure we've seen before. Use every opportunity you can to edge the defending king toward those 4 central squares. That's where it's hardest to get you out of. Still an alternating rosette. And the same plan for black. For white, it's queen e3 check and win the rook. For black, check the king. You may as well. Attack the queen, you may as well. You can block there. And presto, you've gotten the king off the edge of the board. You've made progress toward not losing this ending. So this is the first one that's not alternating colors. Now, there's 4 kinds of these. The first thing to look for quickly to figure out what you need to do is to look for, are the kings in opposition to each other or are they adjacent to each other? In this case, they're right next door. They're here and here, rather than the black king and rook switching places. That would be an opposite rosette. Okay, so if you're the attacker, this is the easiest of the 4 to play, because most of the time what you want to do is give check while attacking the rook. You can do that in this position, not in the other 3. It automatically forces the other guy back and your king advances. So that's a pretty easy pattern to follow. Attack the king and the rook at the same time, force a concession of space, move forward and take the space. There's no longer a rook d5 move here to fool around with the queen. He's going to have to fall back one way or another. A plausible line of play would be to go there. You definitely don't want to go to e7 because then the rook is pinned and lost. So we give a check here. You can go there, up there, attack a hanging rook. And black can either go rook to e6 or king to e6, depending on taste. Okay, that was handled well for both sides. This is still an adjacent rosette. The 2 kings are next to each other rather than being across from each other. But notice the difference in this case. This is the other thing you look for to classify positions. In this case, the rook is on a rank that cuts off one king from the other king. This is like a cutoff defense. When you see the rook keeping one king from approaching the other king, this plays more like a 3rd rank defense with some possibilities of morphing into a harassment defense. So this is where players frequently, on the attack, frequently like to give this check, shooting along the side of the rook like this. Except in one specific location on the board, that's usually not the best play. He's not making much progress. This is just turning into a 3rd rank defense on the 4th rank. I hope you can see that already. Let's walk back in that. So the problem with this move is it just doesn't gain an opportunity for the attacking king to advance. Okay. There is a nice simple pattern that you can follow here. I'm going to put that in the next video because I want to spend a little bit of time on it.